Welcome to the Fight Forum. My name is Andre Jacobs, and what a great night of fights we had at UFC Fight Night 179. We had world-class knockouts, brilliant debuts, legends doing exceptional stuff, going down into different divisions, young guys coming up who you should be excited for. There was so much to talk about, and that's what we're going to do right now. UFC Fight Night 179's main card kicked off with a fantastic featherweight battle between Ilia Topuria and Youssef Zalal. I hadn't heard of Topuria beforehand. I think I might have seen him in a Cage Warriors bout prior to this, but I know who he is now because he is a brilliant grappler. He showed some brilliant front headlock series moves, transitioning from the guillotine to the anaconda choke and constantly putting pressure on Youssef Zalal during the fight. Zalal looked great. He definitely wasn't the white belt that his opponent stated he was, but he had no real chance of doing anything on the ground with Topuria, who just seemed to be a few steps ahead. Whether or not he'll do anything in the division is yet to be seen, but I'll tell you what, he's very interesting and I'll be keeping an eye out for him in the next few months. The Brits did a fantastic job at UFC Fight Night 179. Tom Breese has had a strange journey throughout the octagon. There have been obviously some issues prior to some of his fights, but he proved once again why he was the top prospect in the UK MMA scene quite a while ago. He literally blew his opponent's wig back with a jab. It was absolutely muy bueno, muy bueno. Couldn't be more impressed by him, but really, if we're talking about the most impressive Brit out of everyone, it was Tom Aspinall, the big guy who knocked out his last opponent with, I guess it was a flying knee and a punch to the face. Basically, heavyweight shouldn't move that way. He took on Budo, the Black Samurai, great nickname, in a heavyweight contest, and I believe it lasted about 90 seconds. I remember sending out a tweet basically saying, I've heard that Tom Aspinall is a great grappler. I'd like to see a little bit of that other than the hands, because clearly he's got some great hands on him. And while we didn't get to see his submission, we did get to see him take his opponent down, control him, and land some really devastating ground and pound. I really enjoyed what he said, that he's taking his time, he's not in any rush to fight some of the big dogs in the UFC, and I think that's really smart. Spend your time working, become the fighter that we all think you can, and it'll all be there. It's an aging division, and at 27 years old, he is very, very young. We could be looking at the future of the UFC's heavyweight weight class. If you thought the end was nigh for Edson Barboza Jr., then you are sadly mistaken, because he looked absolutely amazing at UFC Fight Night 179. The Brazilian rolled back the years and showed some amazing work on the feet. Two jabs that two straights really, that looked identical, dropped Amir Khani, and I thought he was out of it, if I'm being honest. I didn't know if he was going to recover, but credit to him, he did exactly that. Whether or not Barboza can be a challenger in the division, I'm not 100% sure. I can imagine it becomes increasingly difficult to get down to 145 pounds, and there are some absolute killers in that division. That being said, if he can have more performances like that, we have a new contender in one of the UFC's biggest divisions. I'm assuming you watched the video that we put out regarding Cory Sandhagen and Marlon Moraes. It looks like we were right. Yeah. Cory Sandhagen put on an absolutely amazing performance against Marlon Moraes, doing everything that I pretty much thought he would do. A lot of pressure, a lot of movement. I didn't expect him to batter Marlon Moraes' leg so much, and usually when you've got the smaller opponent, they attack the body more, but it was actually Cory Sandhagen, who's 5'11", was really peppering Moraes to the body. I'm assuming this is to take his cardio out. I remember watching Marlon Moraes at the end of the first round, and he was taking some heavy breaths, and I don't think that's because he was tired. I think that's because Cory Sandhagen really knocked the wind out of him in tremendous fashion. Now, in his post-fight interview with Dan Hardy, he mentioned that he believes he's next in line for a title shot after the eventual winner between the potential fight between Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan for the bantamweight title. I'm pretty much agreeing with that, but only because if Marlon Moraes is number one in the contenders ranking, and we pretty much guessed that Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan are going to have a fight, kind of want to see Cory Sandhagen versus Petr Yan, or Cory Sandhagen versus Aljamain Sterling too, to see what he can do to improve upon that performance. Listen, the sky's the limit for Cory Sandhagen. He's a great fighter, and that fight against Marlon Moraes proved it. We couldn't talk about UFC Fight Night 179 without discussing Joaquin Buckley's amazing turning sidekick finish that really shocked the world, if I'm being honest. I don't know about you guys, but I had a drink in my hand and a bit of it in my mouth, and I spat it out all over the place. That was absolutely insane. Whether or not Buckley can become something special inside of his division, it's way too early to say. However, what he will have for the rest of his entire life, not just his career, his entire life, he'll have the accolade of having one of the most watched knockouts in UFC history. He blew everyone's mind with that. It's gone viral, it is mainstream, and he is a household name. He went from 4,000 followers to 37,000 followers in a matter of hours, and it's only going to get bigger as that video goes more and more viral. Joaquin Buckley, take a bow, son. Guys, if you like the content we're putting out, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Obviously, we've got more content coming out soon, and we're pretty sure you're going to enjoy it. Obviously, there are some great fights coming up, so keep an eye out for that. Take it easy.